First, we have some breaking news. The NTSB just released its initial report about what may have led to the bus crash with Channelview High School students on board. You may remember this happened back in March when the marching band was on its way back from a trip to Disney World. The NTSB says the motor coach crossed from the right westbound lane of I-10 into the left lane and then went into the median across both eastbound lanes before striking a guardrail. It crashed in a ravine. A passenger reported the bus driver was unresponsive before the accident. That driver, the only person killed in that crash. In the meantime, a new study shows kids who started playing football before the age of 12 showed symptoms of brain disease much earlier than those who started playing in their teens. And the study looked at the brains of nearly 250 amateur and professional football players. Matt Doherty now live at the Texas Medical Center, where neurologists are taking a closer look at these results. Matt?
Yeah, there have been reports of kids' behaviors changing dramatically after they've suffered concussions. But does it make a difference how old they are when they're hit in the head? That new study says it does. Doctors and researchers studying the brain can be certain about one thing: getting hit on the head isn't good.
There's a general theory right now that getting bumped on the head causes inflammation in the brain. And that inflammation is actually what leads to impairment down the road.
The new study published by the Annals of Neurology found kids who start playing tackle football before the age of 12, on average, develop cognitive and emotional symptoms associated with the brain disease CTE. The study found they show these symptoms much earlier than those who start playing football later in life.
And when they hit, you could imagine the forces on their brains.
Dr. Paul Schultz, a neurologist at UT Health's Neuroscience Institute, took a look at the study for us today.
But I think it does make the point that we should be really looking very carefully at people under age 12 if they're in a contact sport.
The doctor says the brains of preteen kids are still growing and won't be finished until as late as their early 20s.
You know, I would hate to say anything against football because I love the game like everybody in Texas. But what I would say is make it as safe as possible. Number one, have the best helmet you can buy.
Dr. Schultz says there's still a lot that hasn't been identified when it comes to brain diseases, but research like this study is important. However, it may still be too soon to draw a conclusion. Now, the doctor suggested some other ways to protect the kids, also by looking at how the game is played. He says in instances like a kickoff return where you have opponents from either side rushing at each other full charge down the field, may not be the best idea for those little kids. We're going to just have to see how all this develops and what other studies show in the future. But for now, we're live at the Texas Medical Center, standing for Houston. Matt Doherty, KHOU 11 News.
Yeah, some solid information to parents consider before signing their kids up to play tackle football. All right, thank you, Matt.
LaPorte police want to find a man they say sexually assaulted a young girl outside the LaPorte Public Library. This attack happened Sunday around 6 in the evening. Now, police say the victim got a good look at her attacker, spotted two distinct tattoos on his body, numbers on his right wrist, and the tattoo of a lady on his chest and shoulder area. Certainly much more on this investigation coming up at 5. Now it is a warning about a possible predator sending strange packages to young girls across the country.
Yeah, the man in question lives in the Houston area, but the FBI says he does not pose a credible threat. Stephanie Whitfield here now to explain. Hey, Steph.
Hey guys, yeah, this story is not exactly as it seems. The 42-year-old who sent the packages is actually mentally challenged. His family assures me he meant no harm. Those packages were brought to authorities' attention after some were delivered to an elementary school in Alabama this week. Even more were sent to young girls' homes and other schools across the country. One of the packages included travel brochures, donuts, and a handwritten note. The FBI says the man who sent them lives here in Houston. His dad tells me he has Asperger's and the mental capacity of a 10-year-old.
He's been trying to reach out to have friends. What he was trying to show is there are some nice places around the world because we traveled quite a bit when they were kids.
Not to identify the family since this seems to be a misunderstanding, but either way, investigators say sending the packages isn't illegal. And again, despite the alert sent out yesterday, the FBI says this man is not a threat to the community. Guys, back to you.
That is good to know. All right, Stephanie, thank you. Well, all lanes are clear on the East X Freeway exit that connects to the 610 North Loop. But earlier this morning, it was a mess. An 18-wheeler carrying loads of beer overturned, shutting down the road. Crews had to manually unload boxes of beer from the semi, and that took hours. Police say the driver rounded the curve a little too fast, but he was not badly hurt.
First of the month, and it's getting more and more humid, and you can definitely tell May has arrived.
It is the first day of May. Should I say the joke?
Yeah.
It's going to be May. Everybody, never mind.
Which joke is that?
Okay, I won't even do any more NSYNC references. I'm done with that, Jason. But Brooks, going to be sticky like this all evening?
Goodness, yes, it will. In fact, it's going to be like this all week and for the rest of the summer and probably into the winter and beyond. Yes, it's summertime almost. It feels like anyway by temperature and humidity. Feel 81 degrees, more clouds than sun this evening. And by tonight at 10 o'clock, we'll see about 74 degrees. Winds out of the southeast, 12 to 15 miles an hour. And warming up, if you will, tomorrow to the upper 80s to around 90 after a low of 72 degrees. Southeast winds at about 10 miles an hour to start off the day tomorrow. It'll be beautiful, but in a Houston kind of a way. Right now it's 78 at Hallettsville, 77 in El Campo, and 77 degrees in Galveston. Busy southeast wind about 15 miles an hour. Lots of clouds around, even some sprinkles passing around from time to time. So heads up on that. You may have to use the windshield wipers. Coming up, we are going to track summer-like temperatures, heavy weekend rain potential, and a 10-day forecast featuring a continuation of this and more, guys.
Beautiful in a Houston way. All right, thank you, Brooks. Well, the mayor of Houston says our city is only stronger after surviving Hurricane Harvey.
Mayor Sylvester Turner's annual State of the City addressing Houston's challenges as well as its achievements. This afternoon, he's urging the federal government to give our city more funding to protect itself from the next natural disaster. He's also speaking about how the city is reforming construction rules, not to prevent development, but so we build in a more responsible way.
Some things will have to change. Some of these changes may seem too aggressive, and for others, they may not be aggressive enough. But when we pass...
The mayor also addressing budget reductions he plans to introduce in the next few days, along with how important technology and innovation will be for Houston's future.